Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Blue Ridge Ranger, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Young Cat, Chris Hillman, new Patreon, thank you very much for joining us, Chris, Dank, Dave Rakier Gafford, David Robinson, David Wayne Foster, Daz Studio 68, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik 86, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Maria Neelands, Matt, Missouri Bear, NA Literalist, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Rob H, Skeptic 936, Steve ALM, Texas Mike, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Unbelievable Productions, and Windrider. So a massive shout out of thanks to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by a couple of people in the G Plus Hangout, together with a couple of people in Discord. So I'll leave you with them while I set up for today's live show.
Betty, right?
Betty got me on it because she's the server owner, but she's never on the show much. She's on Ballbusters all the time.
Yeah, I like Betty.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna switch to Hangouts.
Hey, Righteous.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wait, I think you guys misheard each other. He said, "How you doing today, Nathan?"
Yeah, so good. Thanks.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. I guess you chopped out.
Hey, Righteous. Hey, can you show Nathan that video for me, please, if you could?
Hold on. I don't know if he's all ready yet. Let's see.
What is it?
I mean, it's pretty
He
cool.
might. It's just a video. First, I'll share my screen. Share screen.
I want to see what he thinks about it. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see things.
Okay, hide this part. It's just that near the end. Hold on, let me loop it. Near the end, it looks all like over here. See how it looks all? It almost looks like an electrical charge, but who knows what's going on? Like probably atmospherics. Or maybe
It's
not.
just a time-lapse video of the moon.
Basically, we're seeing a phenomena. We can all agree on that. But yeah, pretty interesting footage. Oh, he might be doing his intro right now.
No, I'm watching it. I just had it on screen.
Oh, you are? Okay. Sometimes, yeah, I guess that's about it. Okay, I can go back to my game, right?
Yeah, very interesting. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the moon. It looks like it's getting charged up in the end.
Well, it looks like, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, you can speculate. I mean, that's okay, but
I'm not making no claims.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Who knows what the moon is? I mean, once you accept that it's not their made-up story of a rock in a sky vacuum, then, you know, all bets are off in that regard. And yeah, obviously it's open to speculation. But do we know what it is? No. Is it interesting? A lot more interesting now than it was. Yeah, definitely.
You know what? I'm not even a domer anymore. Like, I found out, like, looking over the text on the Bible, I'm like, it doesn't even really say that. It's not that specific about it. I think people just like added onto it, like saying, "Oh well." It's just like in natural reality, like the necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container, and then some people just want to say, "Well, it is a container." Well, no, it doesn't necessarily have to mean so. It's just that what we know within what we experience in the natural and physical world. Like, who knows how things operate elsewhere? There might be different laws of nature for all we know.
I think it's the root word rakia that is talking about, and the Hebrews had the idea of a dome based on a solid object called rakia.
Okay, but maybe there's something solid up there, but doesn't mean it's solid in the shape of a dome.
No, no one knows what it is exactly,
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean.
it is something that separates the waters from below from the waters from above.
Okay.
Just containment, that's all.
Okay. But it being a
That's what
dome and
God
coming and
said.
touching the ground again, that I don't know. It's not that specific, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's pretty specific in the sense that the waters above are being held back from the waters below by a barrier of some type. And
Sorry,
the barrier would have
what
to have
waters?
sides.
What waters would they be?
The waters from the beginning in Genesis, where God started the description of how He created everything. He started with the waters. We can read it.
Okay. So the waters described in the Bible, those waters above.
Yeah. Well, the waters below, it says He started, of course, God created everything, but it's stated that He started everything with water. He must have created the water as well.
It's also reiterated in the Psalms too.
It's in many places. Here, I found it.
I got it on screen.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and.
I don't need, 10th, I don't need to read off a load of scripture, and I'm not trying to offend you as a Christian. I'm just saying that I can show
I
you a
wasn't going
million.
to read the.
Hold
I
on.
wasn't going.
Hold on one sec. I can get a million different quotations and citations about how the world's a sphere. So having it written down isn't really a standard that I'm going to, you know.
I wasn't arguing a sphere. I was answering
No,
righteous.
just listen to me again. You're saying here, do you want to hear where it's written in multiple places? And I'm saying I can show you it written down that Earth's a sphere in multiple places. That's not an acceptable standard, though, is it? So when I ask what's the waters above, well, they're written down in this book here, and it's very, well referenced. Okay, but what waters above are we talking about? And there isn't any reference beyond the citations that you'll provide that say there's waters above. Same applies for references to the sphere, where they can only claim that it happens in a certain way. They don't actually show it.
Yeah, but that's not the topic I'm talking about. I'm talking about righteous saying a dome, a firmament, and what does that mean? And he was saying that it doesn't have to necessarily be a dome. And I said, well, it's a barrier of some kind. And then he said, well, this is touching the ground. And I said, well, it's separating the waters below from the waters above. And that's where the topic was going. I mean, every time I try to separate the water from below and above, dishes or whatever, it's going to run over the side unless it's fully covered. So that was my point.
Sure, I got that.
Yeah, that was it.
What I was getting at was that even in Christianity, people seem to make a lot of assumptions and run with it without having support for it.
Like what? I mean, that's
Like
so.
like I just said,
That's,
dome. The whole idea of a dome, it's not
yeah,
that
but
specific.
who said who? You're
Like
just saying
if
things.
just Google biblical cosmology and you'll see a dome over a pizza. and then you know what I mean? It's not even that specific.
Yeah, but who's saying? You're saying a lot of people. You're just saying
I don't
Christianity as a whole.
just okay, you know what? I'll share screen again and I'll Google biblical cosmology and see what we get.
No, I know, but who? When you say Christianity, that's a whole bunch of people in there.
I'm just saying, how do I say it?
Hey, Adam.
Well, I'm not gonna get that specific where I'm gonna name people and stuff like that. I don't want to
We,
do
Before
that.
we got
discuss,
people who were being debated a few months ago that don't even believe anything in the Bible is real, and they claim to be Christians. Give me a break.
let me just give out Adam the
Uh,
lowdown on what's going on. So, 10th man started detailing the waters above, and I said, what waters above? And then he started to reference scripture, which is fine. But beyond that reference, that's it, as far as I can tell.
I agree.
Right.
Okay, I got
And
it on
I'm nearly
screen.
there. I just want to tell them what's going on. So, this all started because Righteous said, I'm not a domer, and I don't want to accept a dome just because it's written in scriptures. That's where we're at. So,
But
we've
it's
come full
not.
circle. Go ahead, Righteous.
I said, but it's not. That was my argument. My argument is like it's not that specific. So why should I jump to conclusions? Is what I was saying. I'm saying it could still be a dome, but I'm saying it's not that specific that it is a dome. I'm saying this whole Hebrew cosmology. When I googled, I don't know if you're sharing my screen, but when you Google biblical cosmology, you get this, and it's not that specific as to describe what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, and I
It's
agreed with you. Uh, I
okay.
went to the point of what does the word rakia mean? I mean, words mean things, right? That's what's so important about the words.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when you go look up the root word rakia, and it comes from the word raka, talking about something solid, firmament.
Okay, I'll look it up quickly.
Yeah, just go to the
Firmament.
Strong's Concordance. I'm right there now.
Yeah, same here. I got it on screen. Let me make more room. There's. Oh wait, I'll go to the strong. One of them doesn't say anything about this one's. This one actually says an arch. That's weird. Let me see what this one says. Extended
Yeah,
surface, solid brackets, but
but that whole
ex-
point is that it's something solid, whether it's an exact dome or whatever shape. That's not. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about how it describes a barrier keeping the waters above from coming down to the waters below.
well, firmament was only used like 17 times. So sometimes we got to be careful because sometimes we're not even sure if we know these exact words are. You
I
know how
just whether
sometimes you
you
need sometimes you need context for like certain definitions, right? And if you don't have enough context to go by, maybe.
yeah, that's a
But
real easy context if you read Genesis, righteous. The word
well,
means to
for
be.
go on.
If the word is only used once, it wouldn't matter. As long as the word has a meaning and it fits the context, we all agree on that. It means to
Okay.
beat, stamp, beat out, spread out, stretch, to stamp, beat out. One who beats out, to overlay, or plating, kind of like if you're stamping some kind of metal. But it's not anything we should be stuck at. It says the record in Genesis is Genesis saying that there's something happening that is keeping the waters above from the waters below, and that's what they call the firmament, and the word is rakia. That's it. There's nothing more to say other than that.
Okay, then.
I mean, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear if you read Genesis. It's just giving the excuse me, the narrative of how according to the Bible, how it all started. That's it. You either accept it, you don't accept it. You think it's poetry if you want. You can think it's real. It's up to you.
Well, I'm
It's
just
not.
saying I'm just saying I'm approaching it from a more, how do I say, kind of open-minded, kind of like basically not jumping to conclusions kind of thing, basically.
Yeah, but who's jumping to conclusions if you just read the scripture? You're showing pictures of someone showing that and saying that's all Christianity. I'm saying be careful how you reference all Christianity.
Okay,
I
I
have a
got you. I got
lot.
you.
Trust me, I meet a lot of Christians who have some weird viewpoints, and I say, show it to me in the Bible, and they can't.
Correct. Like, there's a lot of even like sayings, like people say God knows the end from the beginning, and when you look it up, it actually says declares the end from the beginning.
Yeah,
So
but
there's a
God
lot
knows
of
everything anyway, so He's all knowing. There's no beginning or end to God.
careful.
Again, you're using.
That's a broad stroke saying that people can insert all kinds of things, but
Like
when you go
you.
within the, but hold on, no, I'm trying to go within the context of what's in the book, so
Okay.
I don't take it.
You need to give me context. You're telling me God doesn't know the future. God doesn't know the past. God isn't eternal. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there's no scripture that says.
I'll find
How
you
do I say?
plenty.
I'll say there's no scripture that says that God looks like. I'll use this as an example. I'm not saying this is what happens, but I'm saying there's no scripture that supports God looks in the crystal ball.
That of course God doesn't need a crystal ball, righteous. Why are you saying it that way?
I'm
He
just
is.
saying that to like explain my point. I already gave you the warning at the beginning that that's not what it is, but
I'll
that's
send you
like
the scriptures. I'll send you the references then.
Sure, but I interjected at the point where I'm like, well, your standard is to say, well, where does it say that in the Bible? And Righteous is saying, where can you show that in reality? That's the difference in standards.
I don't even understand how you frame that question. If it's a reference of God and He's a divine being, show me in reality a divine being like you and me. We're not divine beings.
Okay, but that still doesn't show me what is above. I'm sorry.
No, we're not talking about waters above now. We
Well,
switched
Rakia.
to another subject.
Okay, the
No,
roof,
no,
whatever the roof may
no,
be. Now, I
no.
accept
We're
the
not
same.
talking about that.
Well, yeah, we're talking
Change
about
subjects,
Rakia.
Nathan.
Well, that's what we're talking about,
No,
Rakia, right?
he changed subjects. He went on to something else. He said God doesn't know the end from the beginning, the way the Bible or how people think it says. So that's not Rakia.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
realise
talking
that.
about Rakia.
And I'm saying at that point, when you said that, you show me, Mr. Disingenuous non-believer of what's said in the Bible, where it says that in the Bible, that's your standard. And I'm saying, well, the point I interjected was to say, well, yes, it's describing, and you could easily argue that it is specifically describing a roof or rakia or the waters above or all of those things or all of the above. But how are you going to show me those things in reality? And the answer is you can't. Now, if you're going to say, well, no, it's God's description, therefore, infallible, well, okay, that's fair enough. That's your standard. It's just not the standard here.
No, that's a whole different. I don't know if you stepped away or something, but we went off Rakia, and he was talking about a whole other subject.
Yeah,
but
Nathan's trying to round.
I know.
Nathan's trying to round out the previous point because he's about to start
Right, exactly. I know. You brought up a new point.
Sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just laying down the standards. It's not because I agree or disagree or I have any issue with what's stated in the Bible or I know what's stated in the Bible or if I did I would disagree with it either. I'm just saying that here the standards are very different, aren't they?
Well, before you start,
it all depends what you mean by that. I am just referencing the Bible for what the Bible is saying.
Right. That's it.
Yeah,
but
that's all.
that standard isn't the standard here, is it? Let's be honest.
Well, it's not a scientific standard I could apply to it, can I now?
You don't even have to have necessarily a scientific standard to what's asserted. So when you're utilising the first law of thermodynamics to justify the creator, I'm all for it. It's not a scientific law, though, is it? We're talking about laws of nature when we talk about the first law. Anyway.
I'm a bit confused, but when I reference the Bible, I say this is the Word of God. According to the Word of God, this is what it says. Now, after that, if someone says, "Can you show me the firmament?" I said, "Well, no, I can't show it to you because it's like it says it's molten-looking glass, so it's probably transparent or translucent somehow. But it says the sun, moon, and stars are placed inside of it. That's what the Bible says. Now,
Sure. I'm going to
I
start the
can't
live
go
show
out there
10th. I'm going to start the live show. I know that's what it says, and I'm
Well,
grateful
that's
for
all I'm
hearing it.
saying. That's it. I can leave it there.
Fine.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, 10th Man, and Chocolate Sane in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Any signs of physical Earth curve edges, formerly known as the geometric horizon?
Not from Knoxville, Tennessee.
You mean the one that boats used to disappear over?
It's the one. One.
Nah.
Hashtag one horizon.
The one? You sure that's not a trick question?
Just there's definitely hashtag one horizon. The only other assertion is either an imaginary one drawn with 90 degrees to your zenith, an imaginary horizon, also called the sensible horizon, also called the true horizon, also called the... I can never remember. The astronomical, there you go, I got it in the end. The astronomical horizon. All of those are imaginary horizons, used to derive second horizons, in the case of Al-Biruni, which would be your geometric horizon, derived from your sensible horizon or true horizon. And then you've also got, technically speaking, a third horizon, which is the refracted geometric horizon. So you've got three horizons. Go on, 10th Man.
They even say it's imaginary.
Yeah. We've only got one horizon. Hashtag one horizon. Hey, Arwen, good to have you. Any signs of axial rotation?
No.
No. That was good.
Any scientific
The ballers
evidence?
are spinning in place, though.
They are spinning out at the moment. There's lots of pain and anger on the globe side. Hey ho! Party time here on the flat earth side. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope. No.
Supposedly,
Evidence of what?
supposedly there's gas particles that agree with us.
That's already a straw man, you know? It's
What do you mean?
impossible. You can't have a scientific evidence of an effect. It's over.
Oh,
You
I
can.
was referencing
Yeah, you can.
the
What are you
gas
talking about,
particles
Arwen?
at the
Hold on.
Kármán line.
That's not going to go. That's not going to fly. What do you mean you can't have a scientific evidence of effect? The whole point of science is to establish the cause of the effect. That's the whole point of science. So if you're just going to say, well, the effect standing alone, well, that would be a dependent variable, but you can definitely science that.
Oh, right. I get what you mean. Right. No, yeah, that was definitely incorrect.
See Sleeping Warrior's egg in saltwater experiment. Moving on. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Not after observing something, they got to stop there.
Viable? Sure, there are plenty of hypotheses, but I don't know if there are any viable ones.
Yeah, established IV-DV relationship, presumed cause of an effect. No, they don't have that in the pseudoscience fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics. You're absolutely right. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
Yeah.
Other than the cool cartoon that pops up on your screenshots.
There's loads of those.
That's all I've seen.
No Nathan's Apprentice to say we've only done down 12k and we got it wrong with the P waves and S waves. He's clearly not here today. Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Well, it's
Your
using the
channel is
geometric.
right now discussing that.
Was that DJ Neo Shaman? Who was that in Discord? Sorry.
No, I'm saying Poncho Pete is right now debating the R value and how you got it completely wrong. They're not inventing it.
Poncho Pete's on our
What
side.
R value?
Alright, hold on. Let me just get this straight. Poncho Pete, the flat earther, is debating the R value and what?
Well, it started off with the fact that you won't stop asking your opening house question. Somehow went into the fact that the R value is not made up. They have a clear understanding. Someone brought up the horizon, the geometric horizon, and they shut up instantly. They start telling the person, you can't say geometric horizon when there's a flat earther around. They'll kill you. Thought that was
I'm still unclear. Was Pete? Which side of the argument was Poncho Pete on?
oh, clearly that it's made up. I mean, sorry, that it's not made up. They have clear evidence of the R.
So a flat
They
earther
can
was arguing that they have evidence of the R value.
Of course they do. Yeah. You can see it every time you stand on the ocean.
I don't need clarity of what the claim is. I need clarity of who's making it and why they're making it. So far, what we've got from you is that there's a flat earther out there who's stating the
No,
R
I was
values
the flat earth.
Mate, we've got an audience and just need to make it clear what's going on. You're claiming a flat earther, Poncho Pete's, arguing in favour of a clearly defined R value. Is that what you're stating?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. That's why I left.
Why is Poncho Pete arguing for the R value?
Someone there. Sorry.
This makes no sense.
Maybe it wasn't Pancho Pete. Sorry, not Pancho Pete. The guy who says the Himawari satellites are. I thought I got him mixed up.
Anybody help us out?
Anyway, right now on Pancho Pete's channel, they're telling everybody how the R value is not made up.
Poncho Pete's
You
channel.
can clearly, but there is no geometric horizon.
Sorry, Poncho Pete's channel deals in trans investigations. Now, it started off with it being Poncho Pete arguing for the R value. Now we've got a debate on Poncho Pete's channel. None of this makes any sense, mate.
Sorry, I messed up. It wasn't. I thought someone said that there was Pancho Pete there, but I was just sort of listening in, and then I noticed your show started, so I took off. But they are debating the R value and that it's completely made up.
Okay, so somewhere, somebody is debating the R value. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
On Pancho Pete's channel.
On Poncho,
Maybe
on Poncho
maybe-
Pete's channel.
maybe it's one of his subs called Cisco Kid.
I don't know. Let's just
No.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
Well, on Pancho Pete's channel, they're saying.
Let's just draw close. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Party Poet 66. It's good to know, in all seriousness. They're debating the R value. Well, prior to this, they just assumed it and laughed at us when we told them how ludicrous it was to assume holograms. when assuming a physical geometric sphere edge horizon. Now they can't assume R. Well, what do you know? They're debating R. Well, that's because they need to.
That was funny, man.
You forgot about optics, Nathan.
What, our argument that gets put in a column listed flurf excuses for Earth curve? That optics.
Flurf is back in style now, I guess.
Never went out of fashion. The Earth was always obviously and observably flat, and it always will be. The fact that people are under the misapprehension they're on a sphere is neither in or there. So gas pressure without a container. Anybody?
Obviously. Answers itself, doesn't it? You don't go buy a can of hairspray without the can.
That's it then. That concludes the housekeeping. Excellent. Do I need to hustle a load of people off mute in Discord, Righteous? Yes, I do.
No, there's one guy that might need a mic check. Hold on, let me check. Oh, he took him off. He's good.
I listened back to the pre-show from yesterday's show, 10th Man. I don't know if it's just because it's so laid back when we're doing the pre-show, but that summary of the, I think I'm going to trim it out and call it something like three steps to debunking the sphere or something like that, because it was really concise. I even surprised myself when I listened to it back.
Yeah, no, that's why Neil and myself at the same time said, "Oh, you got to cut that out. That was just so tight the way you did it. It was, you were in your groove. You found your groove there on those three that yesterday, Marty."
Yeah, I'll trim it out. I mean, it's available for members. If you're a Nathan Oakley, I've changed my schedules here, there, and everywhere, and now I'm back to the original schedule that I started with, albeit with one addition, which is that the Uncut and After shows go out now immediately after, or as soon as uploading and processing allows, immediately after the live show finishes. So if you're a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, you can currently see one, i.e. yesterday's Uncut and After show now, and then it'll be published later on this evening. So they go out with a day delay. So yesterday's show goes out on my second channel tonight. So the show we're discussing, nobody's seen yet, unless you're a member, and then you probably may or may not have seen it, but you can see it if you want to, if you're a member now. And like I say, it will get released on tonight, and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, it's useful to know if you're a member. You can actually watch it now. But anybody else, watch it tomorrow, or watch it tonight, my bad, on Nathan Oakley channel. Got to change.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth its separate cutout and title. And you'll come up with a good title for it, but something along those lines I think is good.
I will do. The trimmed out clips are coming thick and fast, because as time progresses, the more concise the debunkings of each of the arguments come, and the way each thing is going to get phrased sort of encompasses the debunking that might come your way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I use the top three all the time now, and I was with a fellow flat earther the other day, and I said, "Here, let me give you the top three," and I just rolled through it. Not as good as you do, but it came out good enough. He loved it.
Did you do the singing too? Da, 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 da.
No, it just developed in conversation off the back of the previous show. So we were just discussing, I can't remember which aspect of it. I think it was gravity, and we're saying, this doesn't even make the top three. If you're going to debunk the globe, it's really easy. You debunk the Earth as a sphere with a black swan, essentially debunking the R value, which debunks all observations of a celestial nature. And if that's not satisfactory to debunk everything, in other words, you could just stop there with the black swan. That's good enough to basically annihilate the entire heliocentric religion. You can move on to gas pressure without a container, the sky not being a vacuum. And for those who actually still assert that we're not geocentric, we've still got us spinning, then you can assert that you can't have the Coriolis deviation required to prove that we're spinning, and asserted by gyros and pendulums. So it sort of started off in reverse order with saying, well, 15 degrees an hour end statement is what you get told proves the Earth spins. But it's 15 degrees an hour of what? Well, the Earth rotating underneath an inertial reference frame proves the Earth spins according to heliocentrists. Well, if the Earth turns underneath, then planes will have shortened, reduced flight times when travelling west. So that's where it began, and it sort of evolved into a very concise summary of all three globe debunkings, and it became almost like a 3 steps to debunking a globe, basically. How you can annihilate it in every single respect. It's not spinning, it's not in space, it's not a sphere. Game over globe. The only addition to that was to say that trademark, copyright, Quantum Eraser, 2016, spinning ball space monkey religion is entirely debunked with all of those top 3, with the exception of being a space monkey, i.e. you're not debunking the ridiculous notion that we descended from a completely different animal.
I'm gonna send you some star trail photography, Nathan. I'm gonna get my a card adapter so I could take it from my P900, and I just took some, and they're gorgeous. They came out great.
Excellent, excellent.
Just get a P900 something?
Oh no, I got it first month I was investigating flat Earth, but
Oh, sure.
Bev told me how to do the star trail photography a while back ago, and so on some
Cool,
clear
cool.
nights I've been, putting it out.
Anybody catch the moon this morning? Fucking gorgeous. Part of my language.
Right, we're 15, 20 minutes in now. But no, I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah, she was a sexy girl this morning.
By
Sometimes
coincidence.
the moon catches me like I turned the corner. I didn't see it. It was when I left the house. It was still dark, but when I turned the corner, it was just big, bright, just incredible. Whatever the hell that thing is, it's definitely something incredible up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
when
had
it's
a bright moon here over here too.
There again,
Last night.
Owen.
We had a very bright moon over here as well. With a clear night sky. It is almost like there's this street light, this very heavy street light just hanging in there. It's odd how that works.
Yeah, the amount of times I've been sort of jaw on the floor watching the moon at my local supermarket up the road just because it happens to have a good position to watch the moon rise. And I'm there in stunned amazement because it is, awe-inspiring. And people will be walking past looking at me with a strange look. And occasionally, or this is back in the day before we weren't allowed to go in and near each other, I'd point at it and go, "Look at that!" As in, "Is that cool?" And people wouldn't even bat an eyelid.
Yeah, they'll look at it. What are you looking at? Like, the moon? Yeah. So it's the moon.
My last job,
okay.
when I was delivering groceries in my last job, and I worked at night, so it was often really dark, and I'd know which. Bring him in. So I'm just talking to my wife. I'd show the customers, so I'd bring them out of their house and I'd say, "Look at that! There's Jupiter." And again, they wouldn't bat an eyelid.
It's funny. It won't bat an eyelid until you tell them, that's supposed to be a gas planet, which is not possible because it's a vacuum, right? Then all of a sudden they'll try to pay attention and tell you how that's not what you said is wrong, even though they didn't care 2 minutes ago. You find that?
Yeah. That makes me wonder, in a way, if Jupiter is supposed to be this giant ball of gas, then and it has more gravity, presupposedly, whatever that means these days, than Earth. Like, how does all that gas together create more gravity than the solid Earth? Like, how? Yeah, I know it's how does it work, right? But it's like, how did they come up with that? I don't get it. How can gas? How can it just all be gas and then have more gravity over there, and just be gas? It's weird.
Well, when the ballers make up their cosmology and then we start asking questions, it starts to fall apart real quick.
But somehow you also have Saturn, right, which is supposed to be another gas giant, and somehow that planet can acquire rings that are made of what, ice and dust and all these other particles. So now you got gas attracting mass. What? How does that work?
Usually
Just
the other way
doesn't,
around.
right? Now you got to. I mean, when you're a Narnia, you could just flip it and bounce it however you want. Whatever makes sense, makes sense.
I was just about to say that's the perfect lead. I was just waiting for an entry point to say exactly what I was about to say. They're done out of necessity. Why would it need to do that? Where have they got that from? Was sort of Alwyn's starting opening question. Well, they're all done out of necessity. They start, if you backtrack through these arguments, with the first layer, what I used to call the heliocentric smear of bullshit. Well, you know, each and every one of these nonsense assertions, gravity included, are done out of necessity.
Of course, of course. And with the ring of Saturn, it's very blatantly obvious why they conjured up such a weird little thing there. It's because it's kind of in the visual, and that's how it was decided to interpret that visual. You know, it's some kind of apparent ring around this central disk thing, always in the same orientation, by the way. So, yeah, is it really a ring or is it more like an eye? You know, it all depends on how you're going to look at it. But that's the reason why they put those rings around there. Now, why they chose for Saturn to be gas, just like Jupiter, I don't know. Does it have like apparent cloud-like activity, just like sunspots happen on the sun and all that?
Interesting how they assume to know what's out there, and they don't know what they can't go to the center of the Earth to find that molten iron core.
Right.
Right, I'm going to dig out a link for a channel that I want you all to go subscribe to if you're watching this live. So, Take Back Space TV, which is Christie's channel. He does 4K broadcasts with his telescope linked up to a Sony camera and just broadcast it on YouTube live. You can even ask him in his chat to go and look at specific things. But if you want to actually see what this stuff looks like, as good as you get out of a telescope, subscribe to Take Back Space TV. I'll go and dig out a link if you guys can talk amongst yourselves for a bit.
Hey, Chocolate, how you doing?
Good, man. Hanging in there. Still
Yeah,
breathing.
the moon
So,
was
that's good.
moon was so bright last night when I was doing the Star Trail photography that I can't even aim the P900 towards it. There was just too much light. And normally when it's dark, I gotta watch where I'm stepping, and like someone you could see everything last night.
Yeah, it's insane how bright it can lighten things up when it's dark enough.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to tell me that that's not a light? How are you going to tell me that? That's being reflected right now from some giant ball of gas that's on the other side of this supposed planet. Like, come on. It's just nonsense.
So for the audience's benefit now, I've just got a random clip from Take Back Space TV in a moment. I'll share the link, but just so you can get an idea of what it's showing.
Hey, 10th man.
Yeah.
Hey, I got my not star, but my time lapse camera out. I've had it out all day yesterday and all day tonight. And when I get back home, I'll share it to you. It's Redman.
All right. Yeah. Good job, Red Man. Yeah, I was up every 2.5 hours. I took 4 different Star Trails last night. It's hard to fall asleep when you're waking up every 2.5 hours to go hit the next segment.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier with this camera. I got to get me a better one.
What kind of camera you got?
It's called a Bruno 200. It takes a time lapse itself, and yet you don't have to compose the video. It automatically composes it for you. So it's pretty cool. You just set it and forget it. You set it for 48 days. Don't even have to what is it, 4 AA batteries? Pretty cool.
Oh, so it goes for a longer time than the P900 for sure then.
Off of 4 AA batteries. Cool to go. Let's set it and
Nice.
forget it.
So how many days altogether before the batteries run out?
Yeah, you just set it and just let it go. I haven't had to change the batteries yet, and it's still full. And I've been up, 20 days in, just shooting stuff, and it's got.
So
Send
day
and
and
ready.
night altogether, looped altogether, or is that what you're saying? You must be on the road.
This video is brought to you by Dixon's Electronics for all your camera needs.
Hey, Sean Hawkins, where's that geometric horizon of yours before you start ragging on the P900?
At best, we've debunked the R value. That's all.
That's it.
I do a quick shout out to DJ Neo Shaman who says hashtag Black Swan for the win. You guys are awesome, Nathan. Thank you very much indeed for the support, DJ Neo Shaman.
Yeah, Black Swan was a knockout punch for sure. Punch drunk when they come in here to debate.
I'd like a Glober to tell us why, if this argument is so insignificant, why it has completely changed your arguments into our arguments. That's all I want to know.
According to
I
Rumpus,
want
we
to
just
know.
caught up. Been telling us all
Yeah.
along.
Oh, he's been telling us all along. It's been perspective. Really? That's weird because I remember being on this panel hearing numerous and numerous times how things were being physically blocked. I remember that.
Yep.
I got a pretty good memory. You're not going to Jedi mind wipe that for me. So, some insignificant argument made you completely go back to the drawing board and now tell us that we don't see a geometric horizon? We've
So,
never seen it and we can never see it?
so the guy that says, we do, we do, we do, we don't. He's saying he's always said something.
That's him. That's him. That's him.
I did. Oh,
If you understood geometry,
you guys just don't understand.
But a straight or a curved line is straight. Don't you guys get this?
if you understood geometry,
They're in a mess.
yeah, they're in a big mess. I was thinking about that today. They are in a big mess.
They don't have to be, though. They're only in a big mess because they choose to be. They could actually just say, they could step back and look at it and say, hey, this doesn't make sense.
No, they will never do that.
You
There's
guys want to
certain
see how I
people that
get
will
things
never do
done
that.
around here?
Oh, look at Paul.
Let me ask you an honest
That's the only
question.
way.
Can you actually see Rumpus turning around and saying, you know what? You're so right. I don't see it.
Never ever.
There's no way he would confess that. Or Zanuck.
Yeah, we're both in the same boat. Both babies sat on us, Paul.
What did you say, Nathan?
Both in the same boat.
Oh, you're in the same boat as I am.
I just put my camera on for my audience. Just by pure coincidence, I happened to have a baby sat on me when you sort of like, look at how I cope with things. Baby strapped to me.
Oh, baby moments.
Yeah, Jesse won't let you put her down for more than about 10 minutes. So I discovered this a few days ago.
Sorry.
I might be in that same boat too. My wife will kill me for revealing this, but she's late.
Oh shit! The hell, man? Don't worry, we won't tell her you told us. Your secret is safe. Just don't listen to the replay later.
Oh boy. Oh, we'll see.
Neil.
Yes.
Sorry, I just came back. I saw you were talking.
Been smashing it recently, Arwin.
Who? Me?
Yeah, doing really, really
Think
well.
so.
Harming your rebuttals to people.
Oh, right, in the chat. Yeah, there were a lot of the chat nagging, especially the latter part of the show today. Oof.
I thought Arwen was tremendous yesterday when he set that verbal trap.
Oh, right. Yeah, yesterday was interesting. Definitely was.
That's kind of what I was referring to.
Right.
Arwen is ace.
Yeah, there's been twice now. I'm waiting for a third occasion, or what it was, but I'm going to mention it now, where people have said words to the effect of, that's a rubbish explanation, when it's been exceptionally good from you, really clear, concise, not long, and then people are like, that doesn't explain anything. And you're like, what the hell, man? Is it just when someone gives a really good rebuttal and a really clear, concise explanation for something, they need demeaning? Because that's all they seem to do. Or they've done it twice to you so far in the last week.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting used to that. So.
Well, you shouldn't. Tell them to sod off. No, I'm right, you're wrong.
Well, I'd like the explanation to be the evidence of that I'm wrong and just leave it to that, you know? If I'm gonna follow it up with in some way, getting more personal, I think that would actually then detract from the value of the explanation given.
Maybe you're right, but
my own audience.
I'm just saying it shouldn't be left out there when the rebuttal is, no, Owen hasn't done a very good job of explaining it. And there was a dude on the Discord panel as well that was like, no, that was an excellent explanation. A 5-year-old could understand that. You know, I can't remember who it was to give him credit, but he was absolutely right. And I backed him up. I'm like, yeah, why is it that it's immediately moved to demean the person with their really concise argument?
Because it was concise in the opposite direction of where it needed to be concise.
Right.
It needed to be concise for their point, not Arwen's point. You know what I mean?
It was not open-ended enough for them to insert gravity in there again.
Because the Arwen line destroyed their Carmen line.
Okay.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everyone.
Very well.
Brian.
You good?
Anybody in Discord know why people believe that they live on a magical spinning ball in a vacuum?
I was just going to say, make sure nobody tells Brian to shut up or be quiet.
That was actually the same guy. The guy that was like, a 5-year-old could understand this. Was like, shut up, Brian. Spurs is talking. And rightly so, Brian's like, how dare you? Who's that guy? He's obviously good for generating conversation.
Brian said, I'm fuming over here.
Oh yeah, I hate when someone just blatantly tells you just be quiet. Okay, if Nathan or someone else on the panel tells me, okay, but some random sound or voice from Discord could be some baller telling you what to do. And the ballers are giving me hassle at the moment because they say that I won't leave anyone talk because I won't leave fight the flat out talk because he talks a lot of nonsense and he misrepresents it. So they give me a bit of hassle in comments and stuff about that. So I instantly thought it was a baller just telling me to shut up because one of them wants to tell me to shut up.
Yeah, I think often you get sort of sideline people who want to, produce the show and run the direction that it was going. And Spurs was on a roll, to his credit, but it's so what? He doesn't tell you to shut up. That's not on.
Yeah, whoever it was, I don't know. I think sorry, Nate, go on, Dan.
No, I was going to say, can't you go on their channel for a debate and then they tell you shut up? Well, then what's the debate about if I can't talk?
Yeah, but see, what they want is for you to sit there and listen to whatever they're going to tell you and put up with being misrepresented and them insulting you. If they weren't misrepresenting you and insulting you, it would be easier to sit there and leave them get out that point and then argue back with them. But if someone keeps on trying to put words in your mouth and make it out that you're saying something or not, you have no choice because what they're doing then is within the debate, they're trying to make it look like you're making an argument you're not, and all their stupid followers will just go along with this because they need it. They all need this. They need to misrepresent you. That's what they need because they can't beat you on points. They can't beat you on reality. So they need to misrepresent you and make it seem like you don't know what you're talking about or you're saying something you're not saying. So they're trying to give you a pin and argument to you didn't make. This kind of thing. And if you don't pipe up then, they're going to label you with this. You'll be getting it in comments. Anywhere you go, you're going to be hearing about this thing that you supposedly said and agreed to, that you didn't say and agree to. And this is what they do. Because they have to, they're desperate. And it's like why leave them talk? Why leave them to someone do that?
Yeah, right on. Interrupt when they misrepresent you.
Quick shout out to Cleary, says space-time is a fabrication. Thank you very much indeed for your super chat, Cleary. See what you did there, very clever. Yeah, we'll fabricate some Emperor's clothes with that space-time. The fabric, don't you know?
That's a good one. How come Tent didn't think of that one?
Because I'm in stitches right now.
Boom, boom!
There's no ballers in the Discord.
Don't ruin it. It's the calm before the storm.
I know it's always this way. Then it gets real quiet. And then
Maybe we should talk more about Spaceballs because that sparked a hell of a conversation last week.
Any Hollywood blockbuster, although I don't know if you call Spaceballs a blockbuster, but if we talk about Back to the Future, Star Wars, Spaceballs, anything like that, that tends to trigger fundies into thinking that we're all moronic film critics and therefore wouldn't know the first thing about heliocentrism.
okay, so let's pick the Star Trek.
I was never a Trekkie.
I am.
I can't watch them the same anymore.
Me neither. I was heartbroken. I found out about Flat Earth after filling about 10 terabytes of hard drives with about 2,000 or 3,000 DVDs and Blu-rays that I owned. Big film buff. And then suddenly 90% of it became complete garbage on the spot.
Nah. It's just fantasy.
So
hold on. That's correct. Hold on. That's correct. It is fantasy, but this is something I studied in college. The suspension of disbelief. There's only so far you can suspend disbelief. And if the fundamental premise of a sci-fi movie based around heliocentric beliefs is the basis of the movie, I can't suspend disbelief that far anymore. Therefore, it's unwatchable.
Man, that's a bummer. Because I don't have that problem at all anymore.
Yeah, I remember talking to Insanity is Sanity about it, and he'd just gone and bought Battlefront or something, a Star Wars game. He's like, yeah, I can still enjoy Battlefront. I'm still into the game. I'm like, well, I can't do it anymore. You know, I can't go back and watch this nonsense because it just doesn't... I can't get into the plot of the movie because I can't suspend disbelief enough to believe the concept of a sky vacuum that they're all flying around in.
Right, it will make you kind of wonder if you're sitting in this supposed spaceship and you see it, and then you rocket boost and you're like, hold on, that doesn't actually work. You can't push in a vacuum. That kind of thing does pop into my head every now and then, that I see that kind of thing.
You know, sci-fi movies. The Predator is the only movie that still has something, although they came from space. There's stories out there of people supposedly seeing predator-like things in the forest, the mountains in the US. Hunters and that have come forward saying they're seeing things that look like they're in a saran wrap kind of thing, where they're kind of cloaked. So the Predator might be out there.
Yes,
I don't know
Predator.
about
I can watch Predator. I do.
Oh, hold on, I think that those could definitely be big feet.
Hang on, I like the saran wrap Predator story. Keep going, Brad. I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, this is the story. I don't know if you ever heard of a man called David Paulides. Have you ever heard of him? Any of you on the panel?
Rings a bell.
Yeah, he's been investigating mysterious disappearances for several years now. Things that have makes no sense kind of stuff. And one of the stories he got, although it wasn't about a disappearance, he just detailed it in his book, and he put it into a documentary that came out a while back. It's about this lady who was in a deer stand, living in a small town, on the edge of a small town. I'm not sure what part of the US. It was somewhere. It could have been down the Midwest or somewhere like that. But she was in a deer stand and she had a phone, like one of those old Motorola's or something like that, the flip phones. And she saw something in the trees, and she got her phone out and took a photo of it. And it looked like, you remember the Predator when he's all cloaked. It looked like that. That's what she said it looked like. And the photo looks like that. She couldn't get all of them, the thing into the photo, but the photo looks really strange. But her husband works with, knew a bit about photo editing and all this kind of stuff. Not photo editing, but yeah, about all that kind of thing. So he sent the phone to the company that made it. I don't know if it was Motorola or whoever at the time. And the company said there's no way that phone definitely took this photograph, but there's no way that phone would be capable of taking the photograph. So it's a bit of a mystery. Whereas the phone took a photograph that it supposedly wouldn't have been able to take because they didn't have the capability. But the photograph was definitely taken by this phone. And there's other stories of people coming forward saying the same thing, hunters out in the woods, saying they felt uneasy and so they saw something up in the trees that was like cloaked. It was moving, but they couldn't see what it was. So maybe Predator, you can still watch Predator. That might be there. But yeah,
I like how you brought that back.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the problem. Minute Nathan can't watch any sci-fi, and he used to like it.
I can actually suspend disbelief with Predator because there's, other than there being a spaceship, right, which they don't actually show land in the first one, there's no requirement to believe that alien hasn't come from the horizon as opposed to the sky vacuum, right? So it could be from extra terra firma, for all I know. You know, in other words, the location isn't crucial to the story. So it doesn't hinge around heliocentricity other than the fact that it's an alien, and in our general paradigm, if you're a Westerner, you would believe that aliens come from the sky vacuum. But, you know, I can't remember which movie to say which one it was recently. My wife stuck it on Netflix, and there's literally the opening of the movie is a spaceship coming from the sky vacuum and landing. And immediately I'm like, I can't. And she's like, no, just pretend it's. And it's like, yeah, but you're having to tell me how to suspend disbelief from this point on, and I can't do it. Whereas with Predator, it just opens with them, having a gun battle with some terrorists or whatever they are, mercenaries or something that they've got hostages for. But the plot isn't intrinsic around there being a sky vacuum, is it?
No, but I will say that
until you get to the sequels, though.
Yeah, I said that. I did paraphrase that. I did say in the first one. I did say that.
I know you did, but I can't do it just because I've seen the sequels.
Yeah, I mean,
so I know where these things come from.
Well, exactly. I used to watch the Danny Glover one, and to many extents, aside from the sort of the Rastas toking, I thought it was almost as good a movie. But I haven't watched it since, not since Flat Earth, where I've watched the original Predator since and enjoyed it.
the only part of space is in the original Predator. It's at the very, very start where they show something supposedly flying towards planet Earth.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Look, let's just forget about the bit where they actually show space in the first movie in the opening sequence, because that completely ruins my argument.
Sorry.
It's during the title sequence. That doesn't count.
Well,
yeah,
I thought that.
Man, I don't know that.
Oh no, I was going to say I was just when you called it Saran wrap Predators, I was thinking that was a bit of a stretch, but the audience would be left clinging.
Bit of a stretch, clinging.
Oh my
boom, boom. It could be that we've got a full Discord panel, so there's no fundies in there.
Well, it's almost time for after show, anyways.
Well, if you can, hold on. After that little injection of energy in terms of talking nonsense about a movie for a while, it's worth kicking out a couple of people who haven't spoken yet, just to see if we can get somebody in who's like. Again, it's not going to quite work, this magic trick, if I say the whole point of this is because we've just talked nonsense about movies to create the impression that we're not going to have a clue about anything else. But there we go. I've had to mention it, but if you can kick a couple people out, Righteous, just temporarily, see if we can get it in for the end of the live show.
First, I'll ask if anybody wants to volunteer to leave. They're not going to be talking.
There you go. I think at least one gap's opened up, so... You want to debate the shape of the xenomorph, or whatever they call it in the Predator movies? Is it just called the Predator?
Yeah, I think so.
They don't really call him. Do they really call him that in the movie?
Xenomorph is from Aliens, not from Predator.
Yeah, the Xenomorph is Aliens.
Yeah, I know, but by equivalency, what's the Predator called? Has it got a species, an arbitrary assigned categorization?
Not really, because I don't think they ever got down to the origins of where it came from in the movies, because they never spoke. Right? So it's hard to find backstory for something that doesn't speak or communicate in our language.
That's not true. Right? It said anytime.
Huh?
It said anytime. It also said behind you. There's another line as well.
When it was copying, but it was just mimicking what it heard.
That's what it said.
Actually,
it also said turn around. Turn around.
That was pretty cool.
Predator's an excellent movie. First time I watched Predator was on a Sega Game Gear with a TV tuner for a cartridge with the most horrendous picture on about a 4-inch screen, and it was broadcast on very heavily censored on British television. That was my first ever time watching it on a Game Gear. Remember the Game Gear?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was a very lucky boy because I had a Game Gear with a TV tuner.
That's big money.
Yeah, man. I was
Big,
when I
big,
got that for Christmas, I couldn't quite believe my luck. It was about 80 quid, and it was in the 90s,
big
or maybe in the
screen too.
80s.
4-inch, man.
This doesn't encourage a fundy to debate us. I don't know what will. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard.
Almost sounded like Pinball Wizard.
That's the angry video game nerd. God, it is really quiet. Thin on the ground flat earth debate today. We're talking about video game tuner cards for the Sega Game Gear. My God, what's happened?
Black Swan.
Reminds me. I was
That's
supposed
what
to arrange.
happened.
I was supposed to arrange although Quantum Eraser's lost his internet connection through storms. Maybe when I get back in touch with him, I will arrange for it. Hopefully this week, sometime, to do a show with him and Sleeping Warrior about the Black Swan specifically. Now that the arguments come back, brief hiatus because of COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19 can't kill the Black Swan. It was a death blow, and they tried. They came back. They tried and they tried, and then Mr. Sensible. Well, the best you've done. That was epic. Isn't it amazing? They'll say stuff like that, not realizing how much the radius would change at 10 miles before saying stuff like that.
Stop it. Nathan's withholding measurements from.
He's withholding measurements.
They want us to argue about how much bigger the Earth would get if we actually calculated the R value out based on their mathematics for the Black Swan imagery. You got something you want to present, Righteous?
Yeah, I just seen somebody post this in Discord, I think. I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting.
Out of this world, Tom Cruise plots movie to shoot in space. Fake place. With Elon Musk SpaceX. No, it's all a big lie. Space is fake. Can't have gas pressure without a container. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we're breathing would fill the space. So definitely not. Tom Cruise is definitely not going to be filming in space with Elon Musk. That's a complete lie.
Well, it better be a better representation than that convertible car that they put out there.
No, it's Tom Cruise, so somehow he'll get a motorcycle out there, and it'll work. It'll work.
That car.
You never seen Mission Impossible?
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to hear them say, yes, and Tom did his own stunts in space.
That's what they'll say too. Apparently, the guy learns to fly helicopters and hangs outside of aircrafts while they're flying. So why not? Why not go to a place that you can't breathe and that can't exist?
Yes, he did actually do that.
He did. Nah, don't worry about that.
He did actually hang on to that 747 wing after it was hijacked. That's correct. He did do that stunt.
I do give him props, man. He does a lot of crazy stunts for an actor that not too many people other than like Jackie Chan and somebody would do. So I give him props for that.
Yeah, but you're not reading between the lines. What's happening is the crew's going, my God, this guy's irritating. Yeah, jump on that horse, Tom. Snap, broken arm. And they're all sat back going, yeah.
Anybody can do it. Tom can do it.
I'm just wondering what they're going to conjure up,
That he can't do the harder stunts. He only does the plain stunts.
The plane stunts. That was terrible.
That was boom, boom. Come on, man.
Nah, that was not even a half a boom.
Not even a half of chocolate. My wingman.
That was my boom boom.
I called it. You just role played. Oh gosh. The ball is dead. The ball is dead.
Ding dong, the ball is dead.
That'll get him here. Your ball is dead, ballers. That's why you're not here. I challenge you to make a
What's up
mouth
with
to mouth to your ball.
Mr. Sean Hawkins? Who's in the chat every day, all day. What's up, man? Why don't you just hop in here and talk to us? What's going on? I don't get it. You're in here, so you ain't doing anything.
He
Hop
slammed
on
the
Discord real quick.
P900 earlier. What did the P900 ever do to him?
It destroyed his ball. Destroyed his ball.
Oh. He's ad-homming a camera?
I had a couple of member comments on one of the unpublished videos. Either go out on Saturday or something along those lines. And one of my members was saying it's comical watching Rumpus and Sean Hawkins spam your chat with their venom and hatred and general pain sharing.
General pain sharing.
Do you think it? I mean, it has to be somewhat painful, right? Because as we're sitting in here, laughing, talking about Predator, destroying this globe model, they're sitting there in the chat, spitting all of their venom. I mean, it's like it has to be painful for them. They must get irritated every time one of us laughs or something. I'm sure, definitely me, because I laugh a lot. Because I like laughing at your ridiculous model. Yes, I enjoy it.
Oh, they're very eager to try and find a way through. They're like little insects trying to bite a way through our skin. And then when we express joy, they're taking that as a sign as, oh, we might potentially be weakened for a second. It's all very instinctive at this point when you're that obsessed. So they're like little insects, like little bugs just crawling all over the place in the chat, just trying to find some kind of weakness, some way to gnaw their way through. It's not working.
The Black Swan is the raid. We've placed the Black Swan like raid all over the place, so they can't crawl in. You're gonna die. Raid. Good times.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in live on the Nathan Oakley 1980 stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley Primary stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Hey, Theo, stop biting the pen.
I'm not biting it.
Hey.
You know what? Maybe the debates could be considered as a place where people can come to medicinally trigger.
What you mean, masochists come to get their masochism out? Is that what you mean?
Vent off some steam? Yeah.
Like sharing their pain.
Right.
Yeah. Took the words out of my mouth.
Didn't you already have that with?
Breaking up.
Wherever that was, you broke up. Can you hear me now?
Come again?
Got a new member. You Dada joined as a penguin. Yudada. Udada.
Nice. How many members you got now, Nathan?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'll have a look. Give me 10 seconds and I'll tell you.
I got like 6 or something.
Have you got memberships now, Owen?
Yeah. For a while.
Sure, that's what's up, Owen. Congratulations.
I think I've got 57 members.
Oh, nice.
I think that's right.
Not bad at all.
You know the way Rumpus has been saying that he's been saying for ages, or that they have been saying, not him, but they have been saying for ages that about the fact that we never see the geometric horizon and that it always looks horizontal and flat. Well, he has been saying that for a long time. He personally has been saying that for a long time. Because I've heard him trying to say that on Jose's, I've heard him trying to say that here, and I've heard him on Ranty's detailing it. He has been saying this for ages and ages and ages, that we don't see the geometric horizon, that it always, due to refraction, it always looks flat and horizontal. And this has been his stick for ages now. So he personally has been saying that.
Who?
Rumpus. Rumpus has been saying that.
So what were the boats being
go chocolate
obscured by?
Yeah, I know. But this has been Rumpus's thing. When Rumpus says you've only just caught up, he's literally has been saying that for, I don't know, a couple of years now.
So then he's known this whole time his model has been bullshit and debunked by saying that there's no geometric horizon. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah.
Because there's a problem with that, because their argument now is it's nothing but refraction and just atmospheric conditions and optics, right? So what happened to the physicality? What happened to the physicality, the limitation that they have, that we've never seen that, and he's been saying that?
Yeah.
So he's been bullshitting out of his face this entire time then.
Yeah,
See,
but
I
he
think
believes in Al-Biruni, even though...
It's a decoy, because he might have said there's no geometric horizon, but he always assumed that there was physicality behind the horizon, obviously making boats disappear behind it, because otherwise, what the hell are the boats disappearing behind? And how are you calculating?
Yeah, but the biggest contradiction... Sorry. The biggest contradiction is he's been arguing for Al-Biruni for a long time. Yet he's also saying for a long time that you don't see the geometric horizon. So did he ever put 2 and 2 together and think to himself, well, how did Al-Biruni see it? Do you know what I mean? He's just pre-assumed that Al-Biruni saw it and was correct. You know, it's like that was his whole thing. She argued with Anthony over and over again about the whole Al-Biruni thing. This was his thing with Anthony. Al-Biruni measured it with an astrolabe. Al-Biruni measured it. Well, he actually calculated it, I think, but he didn't measure it. But you know, this is the thing. He's been...
Al-Biruni didn't make the dip correction, from my understanding. And back to Rumpus. How come he never talked prior to the Black Swan about no Atmo Day geometric horizon? How come I never heard him ever bring that up?
I have.
No Atmo Day?
Yeah, well...
Well, no, but he did bring up that you could only see it as real if the atmosphere... That story, he said that way before. Yeah.
So back to Chocolate's point. Hang on. Back to Chocolate's point. If he acts... Okay, so I missed that show.
Yeah, 1 second. What did you say about Al-Biruni for? What did you say about Al-Biruni there a second ago?
Well, supposedly he's up in the mountain and he's looking out to the horizon that you could see. But if you're going to calculate the proper way, you got to minus the distance you're up.
I know, your elevation,
Yeah, but he didn't take that into account, correct?
No, he didn't. No, Rumpus never took into account that if he can't see the geometric horizon, how did Al-Biruni ever see it? No, he never came up with that. I don't know why he didn't see that contradiction. Well, to the best of my knowledge, he didn't. But Rumpus has been arguing that without atmosphere, we would be able to see the geometric horizon. He's been arguing that for a couple of years now. That was his remember his 900-page document or thing he was putting together? That's what that's about.
Yeah, but A.T. Young, his hero, Andrew Thomas Young, his hero says that. So the point is, what Chocolate said is, then what was the obstruction for the boats?
I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
An apparent
That's a
horizon.
whole new point
That's
of
what
view.
I'd like to know.
Apparently, it was a apparent horizon.
Because I
Apparently,
know he's argued about that. Boats over the horizon.
Yeah, you can't take a position, two different 180-degree opposite views on one subject like he does.
because
Isn't
when
that
you
a
say that,
fallacy?
what you're in essence telling me, or at least what I hear after that, is oh, so he knew the whole time it was bullshit, but he was trying to be sneaky about it and not actually say that the horizon we're seeing is simply
Yes.
apparent. That's very
I
sneaky,
want to hear
sneaky,
him say it.
monkey.
I want to
Right.
hear
Very-
it before Black Swan. I want to hear that argument from him. It's got to be somewhere in the videos. I never heard him say that.
Yeah.
Well, there's been
I
plenty
think
of
his answer
them
before
out there
was
with them arguing how these things, boats, buildings, have been obscured physically. They'll even tell us how much of it physically is being obscured based on the nonsense in their calculations. So now all of a sudden, yeah, he knew that. He knew he was full of shit the whole time. That's cute.
no. I do remember him arguing that when about those kind of points when he was asked about those. I remember something a long time back on Ranties and somewhere else. That it could have been on Jose's or something when Jose's kind of first started. He was asked about that kind of thing, and I think now I can't say for definite because I don't know for definite, but I'm pretty sure he said, "Well, we could see it on that day because the atmosphere was right."
Oh,
Yeah.
you could see it on
You know
that
what I
day
mean?
because
So it's gonna,
it happened to match up with their math. So that day
yeah.
we could all of a sudden we don't have to care
Hang on.
about whether or not we have an atmosphere. We could see it all of a sudden.
It
matches.
was I'm sorry. It was just last week that Rumpus came on the show. We posted the picture of the black swan, and he said, "It's right there," meaning the geometric horizon. It's right there. Can't you see it? He was telling us he could see it.
He
And
said
then
it's somewhere in there.
no, he says it's right. No,
He
he
can
did.
see it. He just doesn't see it as a horizon. That's the issue.
Oh, go back to that show.
Well,
Nathan
he
was
can
saying
see it
there's
as.
only one horizon, and he was saying, "Yeah, but the geometric horizon is before that one, and it's right there." And we go, "Where?" And he goes, "Right there." And I go, "Where?" We can't see it.
Oh, beautiful.
Where? Over there, over there, over there.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and a lot of time it doesn't even
Omnipresence in
match the
full
match.
effect.
They're just coming up. As soon as anything is blocked at a distance, from, like say out to sea, as soon as any boat is blocked or anything, straight away, like that was the whole thing. Well, that's the geometric horizon. We're seeing it at that time. It's like, but there's no backing up of, let's say, whether what they see at the distance they see it would actually back their actual radius value, or you know what I mean. There's all like, oh, that there. There's no talk about what atmosphere. All the thing about refraction that goes out the window. There's no evidence of anything. It's just a claim that's it. We see it that day and that's it. They don't back it up with anything. It's just we see it that way and that's it. Now, obviously, they had nothing to back it up with now, but back then they had nothing to back it up with either.
Well,
Do you know what I
he
mean?
came.
Back then, when well, yeah,
No. Do you remember that when the Black Swan first came on the scene, that he left this show, went to a separate show with Sleeping Warrior and Ranty, and they had like a 2.5 hour or something marathon there. And he said in that show, okay, so this ain't too long ago now. He said in that show, well, then there's a glitch in the matrix. That's why that picture is that way.
yeah, I do remember
Well,
something about that.
yeah. So why would how could he know all the time before and then not uh, lean on that understanding that supposedly he knew a long time ago? And why would he reference it as a glitch in the matrix when the black swan just thumped him on the head?
Because the black swan has forced them to bring the bullshit to the forefront, and now they have to tell us as a direct response to the black swan that we don't see a geometric horizon. We've never seen it. We can never see it due to us having an atmosphere, and that the horizon we do see is apparent.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Exactly.
Yep.
Enjoy your stay.
What they're basically stating is, our geometrical interpretation of a horizon is not in the correct place in the real visual world, and then they think that that's okay. Well, guess what? It's not okay, because if it is not the horizon, the actual horizon in the picture, if the supposed geometrical horizon point or whatever in the picture is not the horizon, then it mismatches the globe model predictions.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's the black swan.
I think he was hoping that we wouldn't latch onto it.
He'd be wrong. Again.
Yeah.
But I'm never wrong. I'm 100% always right.
Yeah. I love how Rumpus typically likes to come in hot with literally the first things that we will audibly say is, "You just don't understand." He does that every single time. Hilarious.
Yeah, that's the academia nose in the air, look down at us peasants. You just don't understand.
Right. But he's always done it like that. And he's even been persistent in his approach at it. And at that, his rumpusness about him has been kind of unwavering. Like his rumposity has not been like growing out of control. Yes, he forwards more nonsense, but his character is kind of still stable.
Yeah, but that's another liar's little trick, which is the minute you're caught in a lie, you can't defend your position. You say, "Oh, you just don't understand," which diffuses in his mind everything, but not in ours because we do understand.
Yeah, but he's not.
Do you know what happened? You know what happened with the ballers is that Rumpus was trying to tell them for ages and ages and ages that you can't see the geometric horizon. It always looks horizontal and flat, and none of them are listening to him. And straight after the Black Swan came out, they all had to switch over to this and go, "Oh yeah, we never see it, right? That's why we never heard about it, other than Rumpus saying it, right?" But the problem the problem is that straight as soon as the Black Swan came out, Rumpus tried to do damage control, and the rest of them didn't stick with him. So someone's got feedback in there. The rest of them didn't stick with him. They didn't know where he was coming from because they hadn't listened to him previously. They hadn't been listening to him when he was trying to tell him before that. So consequently, what happened was that as soon as this Black Swan came out, Rumpus came up with a damage. I can't remember exactly what he did, but he came up with a damage control plan of damage control, and the rest of them didn't join in with him, and it made the whole thing worse for them because they were coming up with different reasons. One of them was arguing for this, the other one was arguing for that. You know what I mean? They had five or 10 different reasons. You know what I mean? And they all coming at different angles.
Yeah, but a lot of chaos is always in their advantage because in the end, they always want everyone to forget everything. So,
well,
red
my
herring
side,
is the main strategy.
My reference to Rumpus saying, "Then that's a glitch in the matrix." He must have forgotten his argument when he said that.
Yes.
I mean, even now, I don't know if they all have the same, if they're all on the same common ground as far as the argument goes. They're after kind of bringing it together somewhat, but they're still kind of, some of them are still arguing from different angles. Someone's fading back there.
Well, what are they arguing about in those other shows like Jim Panda and all those other baller hangouts? What do they say?
Well, they just say the Black Swan is dead. That's all they basically say there. They don't want to talk about it.
It is.
Right. Just baseless
How is
assertion,
it
echo
dead?
chambers now.
I don't know, Neil, why this is what they say, you know, because they can't deal with it, you know. Because the worst thing is it's not just one photograph, is it? There's loads of them, and they're constantly. You could get one right now today for all we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
The
shows
problem is the
refraction
horizon
is
is
not
never
a
the one place.
constant. Wow.
I didn't hear who that was yet. You can.
Someone has
The
a
earth is flat.
response to that?
How can you have
Ed Freeze, come and explain this to
Ed
us, Ed Freeze.
Freeze.
Oh
Ed
dear.
Freeze is trying to speak.
Let's hear it.
So the black swan is refraction, and if you want to say there's more pictures of it, it just means refraction happens multiple times. What
So you're telling me that the horizon is refracted? Is that your claim?
there's an apparent horizon, yes.
Yeah, but I asked you a question. Is your claim that the horizon is refracted?
There's an apparent horizon.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, but I want a yes or no on that. Is your claim that the horizon is refracted? Yes or no?
The light reflecting off the surface of the water.
Yeah, I didn't ask you for an
gets
explanation. I asked you to give me a yes or no.
Yeah,
Are you
I'm-
claiming that the horizon is
No.
refracted?
I'm not gonna play that game, so I can explain it to you. Or
What,
I don't need
the
an
yes or
explanation
no
for me. I
answer
need a
here?
yes or no. Yeah.
if you
It's a
don't want
yes
an
or no. Is your-
explanation, then why are you
Yeah,
arguing?
yes or no is playing games, bro. He asked you, is your horizon refracted? Yes or no? It's not a game. It's just a question. Just answer it. You're the one who chose to speak up. Remember?
I'm asking it. I'm trying.
No, he's trying to explain it.
No, he's
Yeah,
trying
you're trying to give us
avoid
an
the question.
explanation we don't need. We need a yes or no on that.
Well, you definitely need the explanation.
Give us a yes or a no, then we'll let you explain. How about that?
I'll explain it.
No, then forget about it. Shut off. Has nothing to
The
say.
explanation.
No
makes
one's
my
interested in
answer
your
clear.
explanation. We're interested in a yes
No,
or
it
no.
doesn't.
We're not interested in play. We're
No,
not
because you
interested in
don't
playing
want
that
any
game.
counter
We're
arguments.
interested
You
in
just
whether
want
it's a
an
yes or
echo
no.
chamber.
Is the horizon? Is your claim that the horizon is refracted? Is that your claim? We need to know. We need to
The
set
light
terms.
reflecting off the surface of the water gets
Yeah,
refracted.
we
causing
nobody
an apparent
is interested in that. Nobody wants to know. We want to know yes or no. Is your claim that the horizon is refracted? Just be yes or no. We know what refraction is.
The light reflecting off the surface of the water gets refracted.
Okay, I'll
causing an
ask you a
apparent-
different question since you won't answer that. What are the 5
That's your-
effects of refraction?
He's not answering about light pathways. We're asking about the visual phenomenon known as the horizon.
Aaron, just
light
just
rays
humor me, give me-
bouncing off don't involve in this. It's
Yeah,
about the visual
helping me out.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So we're not.
What are the 5 effects
If
of
there's no
refraction?
light involved, then how can you do anything? Please explain.
What are the 5 effects of refraction, Ed Freeze?
Now listen, Arwin made
He's
a
not gonna
specific
answer.
claim. He said there's no light involved. So how can you see anything? Please explain, Arwin.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
but you're
not what I
talking to
said.
me
That's the
first.
problem. And I said the light path is not. That's not what this question is about. It's not about how the light is happening. It's about the visual
Oh, so it's not
phenomenon
about refraction.
called the horizon.
Well, the question was about refraction, so it does have to do with that.
No,
Ed
no,
Freeze.
that's not. The question
Ed,
was
hang on,
whether
Aaron.
the visual
Hang on,
phenomenon
He's not
known as
answering.
the
You're allowing him off
horizon is
into a tangent.
refracted or
Hang
not.
on, he's obfuscating
Arwen.
here. Ed Freeze.
He's going off into
You misrepresented what Arwen said. You won't answer a clear
Exactly.
yes and no question. Why are you here?
To spew his nonsense.
Notice how he had to stick onto what
What are you
Arwen said
talking about?
after being asked a direct
Nonsense.
question.
Well,
So
he
can you go back to
misrepresented
the
what
direct
Arwen said.
question that Brian asked you?
I'm asking
Guy?
questions.
No,
Let's
asking you
just
questions.
have Brian. Let's just have Brian and Ed Freeze go. Everyone else listen. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Tent. Yeah. Look, Ed, I'm going to ask you the question again. Is your claim that the horizon is refracted? Is that a yes or no? We need to know yes or no. Otherwise, we can't go on further with this.
I gave you the explanation.
Explanation
I
of
didn't ask you
what?
for an explanation. We asked for a yes or no.
An explanation of how the horizon is refracting?
reflected off the surface of the water gets refracted, causing an apparent.
No.
So he's saying yes.
Ed. So you are saying. So hang on 1 second. So you are saying that the horizon is refracted. Then that means it can't be
Which horizon? The apparent horizon or the geometric horizon?
So there's
How
only
many
one
horizons
horizon,
do we have? Ed.
How about the actual
No,
horizon?
please be specific. The geometric horizon or the apparent horizon?
How many horizons
We have
are
one
there?
horizon.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'll let you do it.
Ed,
Sorry,
we
Jim.
have
Go ahead,
one
Brian.
horizon, right? It's either geometric or it's apparent. Well, a geometric horizon is an apparent horizon, but it's
Exactly,
either geometric and matches the globe or it doesn't. Now, the black swan
No,
is
that's
just
not
one
how
of
it
many
works.
photographs
Refraction
to
is
prove
thing.
that there cannot be a geometric horizon.
Refraction is still a thing. So, is your question regarding
So you're
geometric or
saying
the?
so hang on, Ed. So you're saying that the horizon is refracted. So if the horizon is refracted, then it's not geometric. That's the end of that.
I asked you
You're
specifically.
literally
Which
conceding on your own
horizon
argument.
are you asking about? Which horizon are you asking about? You have
There's
to be
only one horizon.
There's only one horizon.
We see, the apparent horizon.
the
That's
geometric
the horizon we see.
horizon or the apparent horizon.
There's only one horizon.
Then tell me
Wait,
which one are you asking about?
Can you see a geometric horizon?
or the apparent horizon?
Can you see a geometric horizon?
Well, stick them on this for a moment. Right? We see one horizon. Is that true or false? Ed.
False.
Oh, okay.
False. We see more than one horizon. Is that what you're saying?
We see more than one horizon. No. I thought you asked, is there
hang on.
more than one?
I want to get clarity. Are you saying we see more than one horizon, Ed?
No. I thought you asked, is there more than one? Because there are two.
No, I'm asking you how many do we see?
Just said two.
We see the apparent horizon.
He just said
In
there's
reality.
two. He just said two.
Yeah, he's not getting.
There are two is his response to you, Brian. There are two was
There
his
are
answer.
two. We see one.
See?
That don't make no sense.
Hold on. Hold on. I just want to gain clarity. There are
I can
two
give a clear
we see.
example about
Hold on,
this.
mate. There are two. We see one. A horizon is an apparent position where the sky meets the sea or land. So saying there are two, but we only see one means there is only one, because a horizon is a demarcation between sky and land or sea. It's a visible position. So you can't say there are two, we only see one, because that's nonsense. It's not a horizon if we can't see it.
You want to give me an example to show?
Yeah, sure, if you'll just let me get to the end of my statement without interrupting. If you can't see it, in this case a geometric horizon, then it is not a horizon, because a horizon's a visible demarcation point between land and sea. So your suggestion that there's one we see and one we don't, if we don't see it, it's not a horizon. Now that particular horizon that we don't see is marked with an X and labelled horizon in your geometric model, and only exists in the model because according to you and in reality we do not see it.
Right, so can I give my example? Okay. If you have a building, you have a set measurement of the building. We call it the geometric building. If you go far away from the building, but you're still able to see it, there's a lot of air and all sorts of other stuff going on, which causes refraction. That means you're seeing the apparent building. You're not seeing it as it is because of refraction. Same goes on with things like the horizon. There is a geometric
wait a minute. Can I?
horizon.
He's totally right.
I want to ask you a question.
Totally right. There's one
Hold on,
thing though.
I'm not
You know,
done
the
yet.
building, the building is not
There's
a
one. Hang
horizon.
on 1 second. Arwen. Ed, right? Where did your geometric horizon calculation come from?
What do you mean?
Where did it
I
come
didn't
from?
hear the
You're
whole
saying there's a
question. I
geometric horizon there, right? The edge of a sphere, right, of a particular size. Where did it come from?
The calculation of where the horizon, the geometric horizon.
Yeah, who
well, you can
calculated
calculate
it? Where did it? Yeah, who calculated
You
it?
can calculate.
Who
for it.
calculated it? Yeah, who did?
What do you
Hey, Brian,
mean?
can I
Who
ask you
did?
one
You
quick
mean you
question?
specifically?
That's a good
I
point. He's
don't
not
know
answering
who did it
anything.
specifically. First,
Can Ed, is the geometric horizon an apparent horizon?
I think Ed
We
needs to
never
try
see.
to log out
We never
in
see the
Discord
perfect
because he's
geometric
constantly
horizon.
fading out.
Listen, light gets
But no,
reflected
is the
off the
geometric
surface of the
horizon
water
an
or the
apparent
earth,
horizon?
which goes through refraction. That causes an apparent horizon.
That's not what I'm asking. Is the geometric horizon an apparent horizon?
No, I said no, because we have refraction. The earth is not a vacuum. If the earth was a vacuum, then yes, it would be the
All
same, but it's
horizons
not.
are apparent,
So
so that's contradictory.
what?
In
What do
other
you
words,
mean?
you're saying you can't see the geometric horizon, therefore it's not a horizon. Do you
No, because
understand that? Because you definitely didn't calculate a geometric horizon from a refracted one, right? That's like Brian just tried to ask you. Where did you get the
Well, yeah,
calculation for your geometric horizon?
that's certainly possible. That's certainly possible because we
How
can
is that?
account for refraction.
His question, how is that possible? How can you derive a geometric horizon from a refracted horizon? Just silent.
No, I said we can account for refraction. That's not silence.
How did you measure the geometric horizon from a refracted horizon, Ed?
Yeah, you can do that because we can account for refraction. We know what it is. We can calculate if we have to.
Yeah, that's the exact same answer.
Why do you
isn't
think
it?
people always ask?
You're saying you can.
Data from
He's just saying you can. He's asking you, how did you do that? How is that done? Who did it? That's what you're being asked. Don't tell us it can be done.
Well, you want me to look up the formula for you?
How is it done? Oh my God. It's like dealing with idiots. This question's really
take
specific.
The data from your measurements and you calculate it.
Measurements
What are you
of
measuring
mate,
to?
hold on. Measurements of what? The geometric horizon you can't see. And where are you going to get that from? Another stony silence.
No, I said it. You take the data for what causes the refraction.
No,
then
you're not listening.
It.
Not the refraction, you dumbo. Where did you get the geometric horizon from?
Well, she has a good.
That's that stony silence again.
No, I explained it 3 fucking times.
Oh, yeah, share your pain, bitch. Yeah, share it. You didn't. You said it could be done. Now you're talking through me while I point out that you didn't give us Jack. No, you didn't give us anything, mate.
He's arguing from a position of delta x. You're arguing for delta x. We're asking you for x. We're asking you for where did the calculation come from? How did you calculate for something you can't see? You're telling us about refraction afterwards.
Yeah,
How did you calculate
your
in the first
X,
place?
exactly, Brian. Your X is literally your geometric horizon in your model. We're asking you, where'd you get that X from? You still want to talk about delta X, right? The refracted horizon?
Yeah.
So how did you get the geometric horizon measurement from a refracted horizon?
Yeah,
That is the question to you, Ed.
There are multiple ways to calculate.
No. Let me
One of them
finish small.
is to
Let me say something on a
calculate
small level.
backwards for refraction.
Listen.
If you know what causes.
Listen, you can't measure anything unless you got something to measure it to. I can't take my tape measure and just measure it to nothing and come up with a freaking measurement.
What are you talking?
Where's your measuring point?
You're saying where you're getting the geometric horizon from?
Exactly.
Yeah, I explained it 3-4 times.
No, you can't just tell me it's calculated. That's stupid.
But Ed,
Calculated
maybe,
sorry.
did you forget that you said we don't see it?
Yeah, he has forgotten that. You said you can't see it. If you can't see it, mate, you said you can't see it.
No.
So you can't draw a tangent point to it. So you can't then derive a refracted horizon from it because you can't see it, you can't measure it, it's not there, it only exists in your model. We've only got one horizon. This geometric horizon only exists as a point side on in a geometric model. It doesn't exist in reality, so you're not going to derive anything from it.
Yeah, I just gave you the example of the building. So any.
Sorry, we're not talking about buildings with your false equivalents that I had to sit through and listen to. We've heard. Shut up. We heard. A building's not a geometric horizon now, is it? You're not going to be drawing tangent lines to buildings. Shut up. We're not going to draw tangent lines to buildings. That's a false equivalence. I couldn't care less how you example what buildings do. When we're detailing how you'll perform geometry with a straight line to what is required, and that's a visible location, a tangent point that you can see, and you don't see this geometric horizon. We've only got one horizon, and the geometric horizon you're deriving things from only exists in your model, marked with an X, labelled horizon side on. Now that horizon does not exist in reality. It's not a horizon if we can't see it. So where are you getting it from?
I told you like 10 times, dude. Seriously.
Where are you getting it from? Tell us again.
You can calculate for.
Calculate what? You're not going to be capable of calculating anything if you haven't got a geometric point to begin with. Don't you get it, moron?
Oh, really? So you're not standing anywhere? Is that?
Sorry, who cares where I'm standing? We're talking about a tangent point, a physical sphere edge horizon. And that's what your maths is based on. And if you can't see it, you can't measure it.
Yes, you can. You can calculate for refraction.
So you keep saying about calculating refraction. He's back to delta x. Round and round we go with this circle jerk fundy retard. You can't calculate a delta x, 7 over 6r, if you haven't got r. R gives you a geometric horizon, something you can't see. If it only exists in a model and you're going to derive a delta x from it, you've ultimately admitting it only exists in your reified model. Because we don't see a geometric horizon. It does not exist in reality.
Then you measure the circumference of the Earth. And then you calculate it from where you're standing.
You don't have a circumference.
Oh, okay.
How he got that circumference? How did he get the circumference? That's critical. How did he get it?
He asserted it.
Because thousands of people measured it.
Measured what, you moron? He's just not getting it. You're saying you derive it because from your position you can calculate where a geometric horizon should be, where you'll assume something that's supposed to be a visible demarcation point between land and sea should be based on R. Now it doesn't exist beyond that model where you will impose it at a random point in the bloody ocean. Not as a horizon being a demarcation point between land and sea, because that isn't what your horizon, geometric horizon, is. It only exists in a model. So we keep asking you where you're going to get that from in the first place, and you keep telling us that you can back engineer with 7 over 6 R, where you get R from. No, you'll need the R first, moron.
Yeah, you can get calculated by measuring the circumference of the Earth. Like,
how did you get that?
How'd you get that, you moron?
We got a classic case of circular argument.
Yeah, literally circular. Where'd you get R from? I got it from the circumference. Oh, right. Wouldn't you need bloody R for that, you stupid idiot?
oh, really? You do?
Oh, really? What is it? Parroting sarcasm now? No, mate. You're asserting a circle jerk fundamentalist, round the do-si-do you go, begging the question argument by saying you can derive an R value by using refraction. Refraction in geometry for the globe is 7 over 6 R. So you can't get R from a derivative of R by inventing a position that doesn't exist in the middle of the ocean, which you will call a geometric horizon that you cannot see.
Because it's not a vacuum.
How did you calculate the circumference, buddy?
Thousands
What's the
of people
circumference
have
formula?
measured it. You can calculate it through other ways, like with shadows and whatever.
No, shadows requires R and a presupposition of a sphere also. Don't you know your religion? Who is this Muppet Ed? Why has he got the mic so much? He doesn't even understand his own religion.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that doesn't...
My question, why has this dick, Ed, got the mic so much? He's a complete retard. He doesn't understand anything about his own religion. He's just asserted that he can get R from the circumference. Where's he getting the circumference from? Well, from the standard model is the answer. From assuming R.
No, not from assuming R. Jesus,
Well, where did you get R from then? R is the geometric horizon, and we're asking you where the hell you got it from.
Have you never measured the circumference of a circle?
Your circumference needs
Maybe you're
R.
a little late. Sorry.
No, you get R from the circumference also. Don't you know it works backwards as well? Are you that illiterate in...
Oh, it works backwards from you assuming you've got a circumference, does it? So you're going to assume you've got a circumference and work back with terrestrial refraction 7/6R to give you R? No, mate, that's a circle jerk. We've just explained it about 3 times.
No, you don't understand math. It's brilliant.
That's an ad hominem attack saying I don't understand when I've just explained it. Yeah, a circumference also needs R. You're saying, well, I'm automatically assuming a circumference and deriving R from that which I assume that we've got a bloody circumference.
And math.
Seems like you don't. Wow.
I think he's adrift. He kind of
Go
lost
to an
control
evening
halfway.
school for math and then get back to that topic. Because you don't know what you're talking about.
Just another ad hom saying we don't understand.
Know, maybe you're a little late. Mick West came on here, episode, I don't know, 260 something, and told us back then, the standard refraction, your R value is based on an assumption of the standard model.
Well, and also he said something really interesting. He says we don't understand what we're talking about, but we're all asking him questions on how he came about it. So if we don't understand something, but we're asking him questions to help us understand, there's something inconsistency there. I don't get that.
Do you mind if I tell him, Nathan, where he got it from? Can I go ahead with that?
Just that's a go.
Well, Ed
Go
is
for
kind
it.
of still... He's kind of bluffing it, really, because he didn't even know things. He had to look things up, supposedly, because he didn't have the answer. We don't even need to do that in this case with anything he's brought forth. So I think he's actually the one that doesn't really know. He's just bluffing it, like 6 years old.
Let
That
Brian
we're
get
the
him.
ones not knowing it.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Ed, can you... Thanks, Chocolate. Ed, are you still there?
I'm still here. Nathan, you still here?
Yeah, I run the show.
Oh, nobody's sharing.
We're looking for Ed.
Is Ed still
Mr.
there?
Ed? Mr. Ed?
Yeah, so
there?
are you telling me you can't derive R from the circumference of a
Hang on,
circle?
Ed, be quiet a moment, be quiet. I'm
Is
going to
that-
tell you what you obviously don't understand, right? Al-Biruni, right, back in the 11th century, is claimed to have calculated claimed to have calculated the radius value from making a tangent from the top of a high mountain in India to a supposed geometric horizon, okay, on the waters below him, right? Now, how could he have made a calculation to an horizon that we can't see? How can you make a tangent to something?
Because we can
that you
account for
can't see?
refraction.
He couldn't
Million
see.
times I
He
said
couldn't
it.
see
We can
the
account
supposed
for
hang on.
refraction.
If he couldn't see the supposed geometric horizon, right? How can he make a tangent line to it? He can't. It's nonsense. Never happened. Someone made it up.
And also, he needs to show where Al-Biruni actually accounted for refraction in his calculations.
You want me to look up the calculations for refraction?
No.
I'm after just telling you about... Sorry, Paul, go on.
No, I said, show me where Al-Biruni accounted for refraction in his calculation.
Yeah, so we're skipping over a very important point. Nathan, do you think you can't derive R if you know the circumference of a circle?
So what you're basically admitting to is a derived value of an assumed circumference that you're doing. So you already know you've got a circumference then. That would be called begging the question. So because I already know the circumference, I know I can derive R from it. Well, how do you know you've got a circumference?
Yeah.
Because thousands of people have measured.
Oh.
Measured what?
No,
Measured what? A geometric horizon? No, they haven't. And when we ask you where they've measured this, you say they derive it and talk through me when we point out that you're deriving it based on a refraction that includes the R value to begin with. Your geometric refraction, terrestrial refraction, is 7/6 of the R value, mate. You're a moron.
So is that a yes or
What?
Hey, I just told you a minute ago how you arguing from a position of delta x is pointless. I just showed you with the story about Al-Biruni because you don't have x. There is no x. There is no original calculation to any geometric horizon because we can never see the supposed geometric horizon. So Al-Biruni couldn't have calculated from a geometric horizon he couldn't see. There is no x. You have to keep on arguing about refraction and other nonsense and the circumference, and these are all delta x arguments. There is no x. You can't produce x because there is no x. Because you yourself are telling us we can't see it. So it's not there. Al-Biruni couldn't see it either, because how can Al-Biruni see something that no one else can see? He couldn't see it. Nobody ever saw it. It's not really there. So you don't have x. You're arguing from a position of delta x all the time. It's always refraction, circumference, everywhere but x. You didn't even know. I asked you where do you get x from, and I asked you. We all asked you, and you couldn't come up with anything. You couldn't come up with anything. You don't know what you're talking about. That's the problem here. You're arguing from a position of thinking you know what you're talking about, but you don't. You don't have x, and you're not going to have.
An X in this example is the geometric physical sphere edge horizon, marked with an X, labelled horizon, and only in existence in a geometric, begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making this after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley premiering stream audience for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!